Hey everyone, welcome back to Rhythm Railroad. This is part number 5 of my river scene. Been doing a lot here, although it's slow going because of the steps that I need to take now to continue to make this scene come alive. The first thing you're probably noticing is that there's actually like a water type look to the river bed. So what I decided to do is go with a glazing kind of thing instead of the original plan, which was to use the Envirotex light. So I want to thank Boomer Diorama for suggesting this, and specifically suggesting the product from Golden, which I also do not have any connection to. It's just that he uses this all the time, and it's honestly it is very high quality stuff, and it looks great. Now you're gonna notice that there's still some cloudy areas. This whole thing was like literally it looked like milk when I first put it down. This is like the 5th day now of it starting to clear up, so you can really start seeing through now. The only thing that I regret, so it was like that before. So the only thing I regret from doing this way is that I probably went a little too thick on the coats. So since this is uneven, the deeper parts of the scene are going to get more material, right? Because the way the material is poured on there, you're going to get pockets like that. So I probably should have gone with a much lighter coat or a thinner coat to make it clear up like this before. Well, I should say I should have done that first and then maybe added a second coat and kind of like built it up rather than just going for the entire thing. I realize that now. I thought it would clear up just like Envirotex would, where you can put it on kind of thick and it'll still clear up. But it's fine. It's clearing up, which is the thing that I was worried about. It seemed like on day 3 this was not going to happen, but it's very much happening in the shallower areas. So I'm assuming it's just going to clear up anyway. Either way, I don't mind like the whitish kind of look because this is supposed to be like a very fast flowing kind of shallow river. There is a waterfall coming out of the back there, which is I think it's new. I don't think I showed you this completed like this in the last video. So I ended up doing the rock molds, the castings on the flat sides of the waterfall there, and I tried to make it a little bit uneven, even though you can still see like 3 steps there. But I tried to make them in different angles, and the white stuff you see in the back here that looks like flowing water there. That's actually that's a happy mistake that I made. What happened there is that I put down plaster to smooth that little fall out, like the little connection point there. And I forgot that the plaster was still fresh, so I put the gloss material, this stuff, on there before the plaster was dry. So it ended up drying like that, which is kind of cool. It looks like it's flowing. I'll go back and touch it up anyway, but that came out nice. Now you can see like this is where the gloss material, the GAC 500 stuff went on really light, so you can see that cleared up perfectly. It's like crystal clear there. But this is also going to get. I'm going to build up the waterfalls with using like a very thin plastic, transparent kind of material. So I'll make the curvature of like the falls, and then I'll add the material. Probably something thicker than the GAC 500, or probably go with more of like a, like a Mod Podge type thing, or like even a little thicker than that, so I can get some kind of material to stay on the vertical part of the waterfall. But that's going to be added a little bit later, and then I'll blend it in with the point where it lands, or like every time it hits one of the flat surfaces, I'll blend it in with more of this stuff that I'm using. So yeah, I mean, very happy. I mean, this is super glossy. It's which is what I want. I want it to look very crystal clear, and I want the shine to come off the waves. Oh, the other thing about this material is that I didn't expect it to be so bumpy like this, but that's actually what I was trying to build up anyway. So my expectation was that it was going to be flat, and then I was going to have to put a thicker material on top of that to make it look like this, to make it look, wavy and bumpy and rough. But it kind of did it automatically. So I don't even know if I have to do anything else in order to get the texture I want. The only thing I am going to probably add is just a little white paint, like, coming off the rock. Sometimes you get a little foam and things that builds. If I even go that far, but I like the way this is looking. With the exception of the more cloudy stuff, it's not, it's looking nice. So on pictures, like from down here, you can't even tell that it's cloudy. But I can imagine once it clears up, you're going to be able to see all the details. You can kind of see them now. But from the stuff that I tried to make on the riverbed, so that it looks like rocks and things that are just kind of muddy, boulders and stuff that are stuck in the sand and all that stuff. And then obviously the protruding rocks that are coming out, which I think kind of blended in nicely, from what I can tell right now. There's one big one back there that I'm really happy with. But again, when taking a photo from here, or even video footage, looks pretty good to me. I'm pretty happy with that. And as I mentioned, I am going to extend this. So there's going to be a 2-inch foam extension that's going to go basically all the way across here. And it's going to come out quite a bit, probably about 2 feet or maybe 1.5 feet. And the reason for that is so that I can take pictures from back here and still see the water, extended. The way I'm going to achieve that, I think I mentioned it last time, is I'm going to take some really thin plastic and just let it overlap here. So the piece that's going to go into this, or it's going to get inserted with like some kind of like dowel or something, will have the plastic kind of overlapping the joints here. But since this is all rough anyway, it'll kind of blend in once I put the GAC 500 on top of that. And the idea is that when you're looking at it this way, you're not going to see a seam, especially if it's like uneven, right? So I'm going to shape it kind of like that. And it's just a little bit of lip. It doesn't have to be like way in there. But that'll give you the ability to take pictures from way back here and still see the water continuing. And the reason why I didn't want to have it like that permanently, I wanted to have some kind of removable piece, is because, let me just step back here a little bit. I have to get under there whenever I need to access the electrical panel and sprinklers back there. But also the upper levels, I need to get access. So I need to stand basically here to be able to throw switches, right? Here, there's all manual stuff. So this is where I'm standing. It's not very far from the lip of this thing. So in other words, if I had to, the way I'm going to extend it, it's going to come out to like around here somewhere. So if I'm standing here now, it's like almost impossible to reach there. Never mind like way back there. Not that I have to reach back there, but if I ever need to do anything, I want to be able to pull this piece out completely and then, be able to get up there. So the other part of this is that I was thinking, well, let me just finish with the scene. So the other stuff I added here in the scene was this trail that comes down. I mean, what I imagine is that it's eventually, I'm going to add more stuff, but it's going to come down from here, go under, and then wrap around and go under again. And then I already got some like campers and people that are just backpacking that I want to put here on the lip, like looking down at the waterfall and down at the river. So hopefully that'll be here soon, and I'll add those. But the idea of the trail was to just give it a little bit of a break between the greens and the browns, because I feel like there's like way too much green going on. So I'm glad there's some like light sand color and some brown. I like the contrast, and I'm also glad that I made this bridge a different color than this bridge, because it kind of breaks it up once again. And the water is like a greenish brown, so it kind of does both things. So it kind of pulls all the colors together in a different way. Plus the tannish kind of like wall here that all kind of brings the whole scene kind of together with contrast. The other thing I did was I added a lot of static grass, throughout here, and I actually extended it up into here, and I went all the way through here, and even here in this little, low area here. Obviously, that's just like the first layer of it, so I'm probably gonna add more stuff, and I didn't do this yet here. So, but the idea is to make this whole hillside look similar to what I'm doing here, and the way I achieve this, all this overgrowth here, which is nice. You get a lot of detail with this technique that I'm about to tell you about. I did some here also, and some there. I'll probably add a little more, but I just take that fiber material that, I get mine from Woodland Scenics because it's green and it's just easier. You don't have to like paint it or dye it. You just put it on there, put a little, well, what I do is I put a little glue down first, like Mod Podge, matte, and then I put the material on top very thin, and I try to pull it up so that it's high. And then once that's there, I take some scenic cement with a little dropper, and just kind of like drop it over all the fiber. Just try to get it wet. I sometimes put a little alcohol on it before, just so the scenic cement kind of like doesn't just sit on top. And then once it's kind of like soaked, I take any kind of foam material that you like. I don't even know what this is called. I had some laying around, and I just kind of sprinkle it. You don't want to go too heavy. You want to kind of sprinkle it light, so you see like spaces and you see depth in the overgrown bushes and stuff like that. If you put too much of it, it just clumps up. I've done that before. It doesn't look great. Unless you're looking for that look. But it's not, in my opinion, this looks better. So I did that, and I had some loose, like, super tree material laying around. So I did, like a little bush. I put a little static grass on there just to fill it up a little bit. I took also some of that sea sponge stuff. I don't know what it's called, but I put a little thing there. So I'm looking for variety to kind of like change it up and make it look like it's not all the same stuff. And I want to add more stuff. I want to add like some tufts and some like high grass. In fact, I put some aside. I can't find it right now, but I'm gonna mess around with that and just add more variety here. Plus, I'm gonna fill this with trees. This whole back thing is gonna be all trees back there, and I want the rock to be kind of peeking through over here, and over there. And, oh, by the way, the material that I use for the trail is this leaf material, which I bought a long time ago, but I just never got to use it. I don't even know who makes this. I lost the label because it was so old. But it works nice. The reason I didn't use it originally is because it looked very big to me for HO. But you can't really tell once you put it down. It's not something you're like looking at and being bothered by it. At least not me. So yeah, so that's how I achieved that, and that was just basically just a little glue, a lot of material, and then scenic cement, and now it's hard as rock. So that's the end of my progress as far as what's going on here. And I was gonna just bring you over here also because I kind of like, while this was drying, I started kind of working my way this way. So here on the grain facility, I added a little bit of rock and more, grass material to kind of like start blending all this stuff in. And then I also added a guardrail here. I like that rusty look for the guardrail. And it goes all the way, sorry about the shakiness here, goes all the way to there. I got some nice ends on them. I don't know if you can see them on the camera, but like that. And then obviously I added static grass, kind of patchy around, the part of the grain facility that doesn't get used that much is usually the back here. It's like where you store the cars. Gets more grass than over here. So at least that's my viewpoint. And I also added more grass here just to kind of separate, the main line from the street there, or the road. So yeah, and again, this is still very basic. I'm probably going to add more static grass on this side and just kind of give more lift and variety throughout. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk to you about is the plan for the future with what's going on here. So what I imagine is that maybe since I have this area here available, and now it's, it was going to be something different, but now I think what I'm going to do is make this also a water type scene, maybe with a little barge just kind of sitting here parked, with rock or whatever. So this will be kind of like a seawall. Maybe I'll do like an angle like this. And then the idea is that, you'll see water here with the barge just sitting there. But also the river will continue kind of like, I don't know, like a 6-inch strip. So there'll be like a hill maybe, and then like water, right? And it'll go all the way to here. And that's where the connection point will be, right? For the scene. So the idea is that somehow I hook this up, this area of water to that. But the idea also is that I don't want to make it straight. I want to make it so that it has some kind of like curvature to it, like uneven curves, so that when it goes into this, I can almost like flow it into this big piece that I'm adding here, but not get in the way at the same time. So somehow I'm going to be able to remove this, and then, that will be, maybe that'll be part of it. So maybe I'll connect that removal piece to like a section that goes kind of like this. And then from here, it'll be all water. So if I ever need to remove that, I won't have the water just from there to there. So that's what I have in my mind. I know it's a little far to even start working on that right now, but at least there's a little thought process there. All right, so that's going to be it for this video and the progress that I've made on the river. So I will see you on part 6. Take care.